Hi, I'm Steve Jones from SQL Server Central, and I want to show you the Redgate Monitor MCP server, which we've added in preview. We've got it on this test system that's on our internal network. You can see I've got a bunch of servers here. I've got 10 production servers, 4 staging, etc. So what I want to do is I'm going to flip over to Claude and run this. And once I run it, I'm going to say /MCP, and you'll notice it's going to connect to my testnet server. Hopefully this works. Alright, so I'm connected and I'll escape and I'll say, what servers am I monitoring in production? Now this isn't something I normally do, but it gives you an idea of what we can do because there's various tools available here. And so what's going to happen is this is going to start looking at my base monitors, right? So you can see it's going to these different base monitors. And if I come back here, you can see we have multiple base monitors in place on this instance. So it's going to run through this list of stuff and try to determine what items I've actually monitored here. And there's a lot of systems here, right? There's a lot of different things. So it can be kind of interesting. For my next one, let's look at let's say this replication distributor, right? So let's do that. So you can see it's given me 5, 6, a bunch of these that I've got clusters and SQL servers. So what errors are on this SQL server replication distribute? Right, not a great name, but that's the name that we have here, right? And it's the name somewhere in there. So let's see if it pulls in something here, if it can figure that out. So this isn't something I necessarily might want to do right away, but it does allow me to do some query in natural language to try to understand what are in my systems, right? What things are happening. We'll let this run. While this is running, let me look. So I've got disk space alerts here. You know, I was trying to see if there's something on this test instance that's got a high CPU. So here we go, right? So job duration unusual. Job duration unusual is here. There's a bunch of things. You know, what was the job duration unusual for? Right? So I can now just ask a question here of what is going on with that particular one. And so I need permission on some of these. So I had granted permission earlier, so it's got some of these, but I told it to just permission because it's all read-only, and in general I'm okay with reads. I just want it to be able to look in here and try to figure out what's going on. And so it's digging in. As a matter of fact, let's click this thing so we can see what the actual alert is. So we see this alert ended. It was for this job name, mergers don't delete, orders merge, something there. So my last 10 runs are various levels. What does this say? So the duration deviates. Here it's the baseline is 18 seconds. So it's 8% faster. So it seems like a false positive. So that's super interesting, right? And then there's this replication merge alert, which was longer, right? 17% slower. But that's interesting for me to get in here, and it gives you some information about what I might want to do. Sorry, I can't select in here because I'm in Claude Code, but I have some information about what's going on. So what if I say, which one had the high CPU? Was that the one of these Ubuntu ones? Let's see. Oh, what is the CPU average over last 2 hours for the SQL Mon test server, right? So here, I'm going to dig in here and actually look at what's going on with this particular server. And if I look at that one, let's see what it says. So the last 2 hours should be here, and it should be giving me this value, you know, some average in here. We need permission, so let's do it. And then this is going to use Claude to query Redgate Monitor, get some data back, and then interpret those results back from Redgate Monitor. So certainly I could get some of these values back. I could go to the analysis page and do things. So it doesn't expose because this is the different one, but it has these other ones. So let's ask about the let's do vm1.dev cloud. We'll just pick that one because why not, right? And you can see here these are all the base monitors. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Let's check the SQL 2017 instance. Let's do that because it's this instance I want to check in here. Sorry, let's zoom in. This instance I want to check here, right? So that's the /SQL 2017. Let's go back, see if I can find that one in here. Boy, the names on these things are just odd. It's still looking. SQL Monitor, SQL 1 test. I think it's this one. Let's see if this is the right one. Yeah, 2017. So, well, that's interesting. So see what it shows in there. 19, 14, 48%, 25%, TPM. So that's interesting. It's read through here. Spikes in 45, 48%, which is, I believe, what we're seeing in here. Right. The times aren't quite matching, but I wonder. Last 2 hours, average 20% max. Oh, this is previously, so 20% in the last 2 hours. That's probably not a reasonable number in here to just go through and look and see what that is, right? Like, certainly that's not the easiest thing in the world for me to check if I'm trying to do this. If I said baseline, let's see where the baseline would come through. I bet you it is in that 20% range. No, it's higher. So, in any case, the idea here is that I can use Claude, I can use my LLM to query Redgate Monitor and pull back data and analyze and give me some information and do some things that might not be easy for me to do like this. I couldn't do this very quickly without the MCP server. So if you've got Redgate Monitor and you've got one of the latest versions, give it a try and see what you think. I'm Steve Jones for Redgate Software and SQL Server Central.